Hey there everyone, Hitesh here and welcome back to another video of the golang series. And as you know, just like always, a big shout out to people who have supported me at pro.learncodeonline, and thank you so much. Because of you this series is here. Now initially I thought that we're gonna just take this defer statement on the go as we are talking about the files or maybe database connection and stuff, but then I realized no, this is going to be one of the topic which is going to trouble the internet a lot, so it's my job to make things easier for you. So we're going to understand the defer, but we're not going to take the exact example from the documentation itself because it is confusing, and I'll tell you the reason why is that. But first, let's read just 2 lines up here to make it things easier. So if the first statement is up here, the defer statement invokes a function whose execution is deferred at the moment the surrounding function returns. I know this is all gibberish, but basically what it's saying that when a function executes, it executes line by line, even though it is compiled, but that's how the flow works. And as soon as you put the defer keyword, whatever the next line you have marked for execution, it's not going to execute there, but it's going to execute at the very end of the function itself. Yeah, that's all it is saying. Another important line that you should be worried about, and we will have a detailed discussion on this, is this one here. This one up here. So instead, the deferred functions are invoked immediately before the surrounding function returns. So basically the same line that it executes, the whatever the line of a statement is there, as soon as it's about to just end it, in the reverse order they were deferred. Now this line can be confusing. This could have been made easier if in the bracket they could have write just the LIFO, last in first out. That's what it is saying. Now the reason why I'm not going to be talking about the example given up here, because it says lock defer lock. Now this lock thing, you cannot understand it right up here. That is absolutely illogical here. It can only be understood when we talk about the mutex, the sync, and sometimes the memory shared function. There should be a separate case example for that, and that's exactly what we'll be doing. Now let's go ahead and take this. Now remember 2 things. At the very end of the function, as well as the LIFO, last in first out. Now let's go on to this example. I've already created the defer main.go file and initialized the mod for you as well. Now let's go ahead and create a package, and we'll have a simple function that will be called as main. And we're going to have a simple funct, and in this simple funct, we are going to go ahead and say hello. Okay, no big deal. We have done this so many times. Now we're going to go ahead and say defer keyword, and inside or just after the deferred keyword, we're going to again have a line, and which is going to say hello world. Now this is obviously not going to make any sense to you. You'll say, especially after seeing the result, that yeah, this is nothing new. And did I open this up wrong? Yep, I absolutely opened this up wrong. We need to open that up in integrated terminal, and this should be fine. Go run main.go, and you see hello and world. That's fine, no big deal. The special case of the defer actually comes into the picture when you go ahead and move this line at the top. Now what's going to happen in this case, since I told you that the function execution happens line by line. So line number 6 supposed to be executed first, then line number 7, and whatever the line number 8 says. But since you have mentioned the keyword defer, it's going to say, hey, I'm not gonna work. Basically this means that whatever or wherever you put up the defer, it just cuts this line up here and place it just before this last curly braces. You can assume that imagination is like really the best thing that can ever happen in the programming. So just imagine the moment you write this defer keyword, this line gets cut out and this gets up here just above this last curly braces. So this is what is going to give you a little bit of sense that how the defer actually works. So if I run this, of course, after saving this, if I go ahead and run this one, you still see hello world because you marked it as defer. But on the other hand, if you don't mark it as defer, you go ahead and remove this, obviously the program flow will reverse. Now it says world and hello. Okay, a couple of more interesting stuff with this defer because we need to understand that as well. Now we're going to go ahead and keep this hello world as it is, but I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this line, and I'm going to mark this one as 1. Come on, there we go. And another line, and we're going to mark this one as 2. Now, can you imagine what is going to happen in this case? If you can imagine that, half of the job is done. Now remember, I told you just this very, very cryptic line that in the reverse order they are deferred. This means last in, first out. So if you can imagine that, I think this is going to give you a great help of understanding the defer. Notice here the first guy that moves into the list, remember last in, first out, was the word. So once this is being printed, remember, those lines who are not being marked will execute as it is. They are not being deferred from the regular execution. So hello obviously is going to be printed first. Then comes up is the 2. Why 2? Because this guy last in, first out. So this guy went up at the very last of it. So the pattern that is going to see, let's go ahead and try to print that out. So first you see the world. So obviously the world is going to get into the line. Then after that, you're going to see that 1 gets into the line, and then you get to see that 2 gets into the line. So who will be printed first? Obviously hello, because that's not marked as deferred, and then last in, first out. So who is first in the line? The 2. Remember, this is almost like, I always give this example in my computer coding courses and stuff. This is almost like a McDonald's line. So the car number 2 went up first, so obviously that will get printed up. In the 1, this 1 will get printed up. This is world and this is the world. So remember always, this is always like a McDonald's line. So this is what we get. Now let's make things a little bit more interesting. Let me write a simple method up here, and or function, not method. Again, they are always exactly same. So we're going to call this one as my differ. Yeah, that's a nice name. Not very creative, but yeah. So let's go ahead and write a simple for loop, and let's use this for statement. I starts with 0, and yeah, starts with 0 is fine. And I'm going to go ahead and remove this one till 5. That's fine. I just want to keep on increasing. And I'll just say print ln, let's just say just print, and I just want to print the value of I. Now this is fine, there is no surprise up here, but can you imagine what's going to happen if I go ahead and defer this statement up here? Now very interestingly, I go ahead and call this line up here as my defer. There we go. Now to understand this execution, it is very important that we first visualize what is going to happen, and then we go further there. Now, if I go ahead and run this one, remember the hello will be printed up first. That's nice. These are deferred, so they will be just kept into a line. This is McDonald's line, so they will be there. Now, after that, I go ahead and say print hello, so that will be printed first. Remember, after that, this will execute, not these guys, because this line never saw the defer statement. So the function call will happen first. So the function hello will be printed. So let's go ahead and try to predict the output. So hello will be printed, and after the hello is being printed, we call this my defer. So this will start I with 0. Okay, that we get it, but we actually call the defer. Okay, so the print is not going to happen immediately. It will get stored into the stack. So let me go ahead and mark my stack just here, that how the things will go. First, the I value is 0, so 0 will get into the line. This is another MACD's line. And then 1 will get into it, then 2 will get into it, then 3 will get into it, then 4 will get into it, and 5. Obviously, that's a wrong comparison. So according to this statement, this will never go in. Now the line needs to be emptied up. So after the hello is being printed, you'll see that there is a 4, there is a 3, there is a 2, there is a 1, there is a 0 as well. And once this is being done, this line is queued up, the control will go back and it will say, hey, there is nothing up here. Okay, that is fine. But I have some statements which are deferred that are already being placed in the line. So I need to execute them as well. So how the line is going on right now? So in the line, 2 is here, 1 is here, world is here. So obviously after that, we're going to see the 2 is there, then the 1 is there, and then finally the world is there. Let's see that how well we were able to predict this output. Let's go ahead and see that. Of course, we didn't calculated the /n, so hope you excuse me there. But we can see that the hello is being printed first, because obviously we see no defer statement in the hello. That is fine. After that, my defer, it sees no defer statement. So execution flow control will jump here. But here we see a deferred statement, so another queue or the line needs to be created up here. So in the line, we see that 0 goes in, then 1, 2, 3, and 4. But at the time of output, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0 will kick in. Since we don't have /n, don't worry about the /n's. We see that we get 2 because these guys were already in the line. So we get 2, then we get 1, and then we finally get the world. So remember this always, the defer is the most simplest keyword in the Golang. Yes, by reading too much blogs and articles, you'll get confused. Instead of doing that, try to write some code and get with the different scenarios of the code. Defer always, as soon as you see the differ keywords, that means the execution will happen a little bit later. A McDonald's queue is being created, and that might be many McDonald's or just one McDonald's. In this case, we are creating flow to another McDonald's, and this is just the queue for one McDonald's. So make sure you always remember that. Told you, it's really simple. It's not really that much difficult, and I'm pretty sure after watching this video, differ is not going to be any problem. Let me know in the comment section as well. I'm going to catch you up in the next video.